Novak, the fans are excited to see you back here in Shanghai. At this stage, I wondered, how do you decide which tournaments you're going to play, and could this be the last time you're playing here?
I don't think it's going to be the last time playing here, but you never know. I don't make any long-term plans. It's what I said in New York after I finished the tournament there. So I know I'm going to be playing here starting tomorrow, and then Athens. You know, that's the plan till the rest of the year. Let's see if I add up one or two tournaments more to the schedule. I decided to come here, I think mostly because of, you know, the fans and the support and how good they treat me, really. I mean, I feel great in Shanghai and also Beijing. You know, I haven't played there, but I had a lot of success, and I think the results that I've been making in both Beijing and Shanghai are testament to how I feel and on the court and off the court as well. So, you know, the practice session these days have been amazing. Felt like matches, honestly, the amount of people and the energy on the court. So that, you know, gives me even more motivation to do my best. So hopefully I can have a good tournament.
You've had another historic season this year. I wondered, how are you competing so well still? What part of your game have you got most trust in at the moment?
I think in terms of Grand Slam performances, semifinals in each one of them is really good. I mean, I don't want to say excellent because there's always part of me that believes that it wants to do better, it wants to win trophies, and that's what I aim for. But, you know, Sinner and Alcaraz were just too good, and they made, obviously, the difference in our matchups. But, you know, I think in terms of setting up goals and objectives for the season, this season was no different from most of the other seasons in my career, where I, you know, put Grand Slams as the main priority, and I think I played really good, best tennis basically on Grand Slams, which I'm happy about. And you know, I managed to win my 100th title as well, which is a great milestone. You know, I have this tournament, Athens, maybe another one till the rest of the year. So, you know, I'm always aiming for the highest. You know, there's no difference whether I can make it or not. Obviously, it's always a question mark, but I'm doing my absolute best in terms of training and preparation to give myself a best possible chance.
If you could gift one element of your game to the next generation, what would you give?
That's a good one. That's a good question. I mean, tennis is a very complete sport in terms of the physical, the mental abilities that you know, put in or invest on the court. You know, you need the optimal levels of flexibility, agility, strength, power, speed. You know, all of these aspects have to come together, and of course mentally, you know, you need to be super strong and disciplined and dedicated in order to reach the top and stay at the top, you know, which is a whole other level of I guess, task or a challenge. So I think probably it would be my versatility. I think that's something that really allowed me to excel in my life, in my career, on all surfaces. I was really always looking to upgrade my game and really hide my flaws as much as not only hide them, but actually make them a strength rather than you know, kind of giving up because that's just a shot that I don't know how to hit. I'd like work, you know, religiously on it to improve it. Of course, there's still shots which are, you know, some are better than others, but I think just the mental approach of really willing to improve your game on every surface, adapt your game to an opponent, and have all the array of options, you know, makes you feel more confident, a bit more also relaxed, because you know that you can pull out from your pocket, so to say, different tactical plays, because you can play deep in the court or inside of the court. You can serve and volley, or you can chip the returns, you can play slices and drop shots, you can play aggressive flat or spin. So it's important to have that versatility, particularly in today's game. Because you know, game is based mostly on the baseline nowadays. You know, it's not like, it used to be with most of the players playing serve and volley, and 3 out of 4 slams until '88 were played on grass. So it's a completely different game and evolution from the technology of the rackets that we use, from the wooden rackets to today, materials that are so good and so light and help with the speed of the ball and rotation and all the things that you want to do with the racket and the ball. So so I think it's important to really always look to improve and to perfect your game, to complete your game as much as you can. Don't settle for anything less.
Hey Novak, welcome back. Talk about your success here in Shanghai. In 2008, you win your first Masters Cup, which goes on ATP Finals, of course. You won 7 of them overall, and now winning 4 titles here at this tournament. Just talk about the great success you've had here over the years.
Yeah, over the years it has been amazing tournament for me to be playing in Shanghai. As you referred, back in 2008, I won my first Masters Cup, or World Tour Finals at the time. It was called Masters Cup. And it was, other than the slam that I won that year, my biggest trophy. So, I felt obviously over the moon with that triumph, and the amount of support I've been getting since that year has been incredible in China, both Beijing and Shanghai. And I just love coming back and performing in front of the crowd. That always gives me great energy, great vibes. Every practice session it feels like playing a match, honestly, with the amount of people that is there, screaming and really willing to show their support and show their love and passion for what I do. And so I feel very welcome. And that's probably the biggest reason why I decided to come here, to be honest with you, because I just feel good playing here and feel like at home. Probably outside of my country is the biggest support that I've been getting anywhere in the world.
Hello. Hello, Novak. As you know, fans love this intergenerational rivalry that you have going with Yannick and Carlos. Mm-hmm. You said after the US Open semi-final that it was a very, very difficult thing to compete with them over 5 sets. Do you like your chances against them over 3 sets? And other than the physicality, are there any other elements that are different between 3 and 5 sets in trying to beat them?
Well, I mean, the physicality is logically the biggest factor in the best of 3 rather than best of 5. But it's all connected, obviously, with the mental part and the game-wise. If you're physically, not at your 100% against these guys, you feel like you're half a step slower, and that affects the whole game. It affects the whole play, the rallies, and different aspects of the encounter. So yeah, I mean, that's what I said after US Open, because I really felt that playing best of 5 against these guys at the latter stages of the tournament, makes it really challenging for me, because I feel like I don't come in as fresh as as fresh as they do in the semis, and that's okay. I mean, that's just a biological fact that eventually I have to accept. I'm still working my hardest that I possibly can in the circumstances to challenge the guys, or to challenge myself primarily, and really see how I can do on all the tournaments that I take part on. Of course, best of 3, duration of the tournament of ideally 7 days, but then you have most of the Masters events are played over almost 2 weeks, is where I feel I have better chance to win a trophy, or to make a significant result. Other than those matches that I lost to these best 2 players in the world, I think I've played really good tennis in Grand Slams and reached semifinals in each one of them. So it speaks about the level and the consistency, and so I'm pleased with that, of course. But at the same time, there's part of me that always, is a winner, that wants to be the best. That I've been fortunate to experience the greatest things in this sport across 20 years of my career. So it does feel not ideal, I guess, when you're playing big matches and you're losing against currently the best players in the world. So, but nevertheless, that's not discouraging me to keep going. And I don't play tennis only for the sake of making results and winning trophies. There's, you know, several other reasons why I keep going, and one of them is obviously experiencing the love and support worldwide, and still hoping to contribute by participating in the big events to the growth of the tennis overall as a sport. And that's what gives me motivation. It gives me also goosebumps, you know, every time I walk out on the court and people call my name and cheer for me. So it's a beautiful feeling.
Yeah, hello Novak. And I mean, you made clear your goal at this point of your career. I'm wondering, at your home, your kids now that are grown enough, what they think. They tell you, Dad, let's try another one, or it's okay like that? And then, I mean, Turin is 1 week, is at the best of 3 sets.
Yeah. Well, my son, he plays tennis more, and, you know, so he follows what's going on, and he was really insisting on traveling with me to China. He wants to travel with me everywhere, but you know, he has to do school, and it's not that simple. But you know, he's really in love with tennis and the sport, and yeah, my kids and my wife are, you know, my biggest supporters. And obviously, when they're on the stadium and you've seen them, how they support, how passionately they care about and play with me every single point. So of course, me seeing them on the stands, you know, is even more inspirational. You know, I love to have them, but at the same time, you know, the kids cannot live daddy's life. They have to live their own life, and you know, I try to support them and be there for them. And whether they feel like I have, yeah, they believe in me. You know, they feel like you know, they look at me as the best always, and so when I'm kind of down on myself, they remind me of, you know, of the things that I have accomplished, and you know, why they still believe that I can do it. So their support is very meaningful to me. And you asked me about Turin. Yeah, I mean, it is a tournament where I had quite a bit of success in the last years. I won it 2 times, and you know, hopefully I can be back. You know, let's see. I don't make plans long term anymore. You know, I've said that. I said that in New York. So after Shanghai, the only tournament I know I'm going to play is the one in Athens, and then let's see if I play Turin or not. I'm not sure yet.
Last 2 questions from here.
Hi, Novak. China Daily here. I want to ask you about, like, the Shanghai Master has gone through many editions with big upgrades every year, and with more top players playing here every year. What are your thoughts on the role this tournament has played in developing and promoting tennis worldwide, or more specifically in China, and also promote the city of Shanghai?
Yeah, well, look, we talked about in the beginning the fact that Shanghai hosted, I don't know, I'm not sure exactly how many years, I think it was 4 or 5 years, they hosted a Masters Cup, which is called World Tour Finals now, and then it became the Shanghai Rolex Masters 1000 event from 2009 onwards. And, you know, other than COVID years that wasn't played, you know, it was played every year, and I think it's a very important tournament for promotion of our sport globally, but particularly in Asia, you know, in China and Asia and this part of the world, you know, that maybe doesn't necessarily follow certain tournaments that are played in some other continents. So it's important that, you know, there are big tournaments like this that promote tennis and attract more attention to this sport to young, for young people in China. You know, China is, I mean, it's the biggest country in the world in terms of population with India. So, and Chinese people love racket sports. We know that, and so there is a long history and tradition and culture of tennis, and ping pong, and you know, the other racket sports. We know that. So, so it's great. It's fantastic. You can see that there's a lot of excitement for the tennis in Shanghai, but also in Beijing. I mean, I haven't played Beijing since a long time, but you know, I had great time in Beijing, great success in my career, and just yeah, I just think it's a fantastic tournament that should keep on going, and we'll see. You know, that there's also quite a bit of interest to organize the WTA tournaments. You know, I mean, China, I mean, schedule-wise has many more women's tournaments, and the men's tournaments, obviously, historically, the biggest ones have been the Beijing and Shanghai, which are amazing. I mean, you can see, as you said, all the best players in the world have been playing traditionally in both of these tournaments.
Hi, Rebecca Bailey from AFP. Do you agree with the criticism of the schedule that have been made this week by Alcaraz, Swiatek, and Coco Gauff? And sort of linked to that, do you sort of fancy your chances in a rematch against Jannik Sinner, given he's just finished playing?
I'll answer your second question first. I'd love to have a chance to play Jannik. That means that I'll reach the semifinals, which would be great. We'll see, obviously. I mean, he's been winning most of the matches that we played against each other lately. And we played finals last year here. It was a good match. So hopefully I get my chance again. And can you just tell me exactly what they were complaining about when it comes to schedule? What exactly about the schedule?
I mean, just sort of that there's not enough time to rest, that Alcaraz's quote was something has to be done about the schedule. I can't, sorry. Yeah, basically that it's too packed. There's too many tournaments, the season's too long, and it doesn't give players enough time to properly recover.
Okay. Well, I was personally against the extension of the days of duration of the Masters 1000 events. I felt from the very beginning I was against it. Actually, even when I was in the council, I think I was at the time president of the council, so I was not supportive of that. I think for the players, not good. From one perspective, you could say, I mean, for me, in my age right now, have a days between the tournaments is good, but I think overall, for most of the players, it just takes away the days in the schedule, in the calendar, and personally, I'm not supportive of that. I understand that there's upside to the tournaments and so forth, but as a player, I never liked that. So I do empathize or sympathize with players who are against that, because now they are realizing, I guess, that it's not really great. But at the same time, look, you know, you always have, it's an individual sport. So there are choices to be made. In the end of the day, you can still make choices. You know, I see that some players maybe say, well, there are rules imposed, etc., but there are rules imposed for bonus. So you can miss the bonus, but it's the choice that you are willing to make if you want to play less. But then there are exhibitions as well that players are signing up for. So it's a little bit contradictory. Yeah, I guess I've been talking about this topic for so many years, you know. This is not first time, and people who know me and know my press conferences and my time in the council, they know that, you know, more than 15 years ago, I was talking about, you know, us needing to come together and reorganize the schedule and the calendar, even way before the 30-year deal plan came to realization with Masters events. But you know, it's a very long topic, so I don't know where to start, where to finish, to be honest. It's very complex. It's not that simple, you know. I don't want to sound like I'm supportive or not supportive, because there's different elements that you have to take in consideration, you know. The monopoly that has been created in this sport has been very strong for the last, you know, 4 decades. And there are people who just don't want to change things in our sport, you know, for the better in terms of when it comes to the players' welfare. you know, because everybody works in their own interest, and that's logical, I guess, business sense. In the end, as a player and as someone that has been playing on the highest level for more than 20 years, I can say that the players are not united enough, and players are not participating enough when they should be. So they make the comments and they complain, and then they go away, and then if something is wrong after a certain amount of time, they come back again. And then, but you have to invest the time, you have to invest the energy, yourself, not your agent, not your team, not your parents, not anybody, yourself, to dedicate yourself to understand how the system works, to understand what are the things that can be done to be reversed, to be improved in terms of the players' interest. And for that to happen, you need the top players particularly, you know, to sit down, roll up their sleeves, and really care a bit more about participating and understanding all of the hot topics, so to say. Because, you know, going out in the media and talking about this and that, okay, it might stir up some energy or some attention, but in the end of the day, it's not going to change. Nothing is going to change, you know. I know it because from my personal experience, trust me. So, yeah, it's quite a complex topic. Thank you.